Alright, welcome back. Okay, so first we're going to talk about all your controls right here. You have your Xantrax inverter. And what this does basically is while you're driving down the street and you want your fridge to stay cold, you just need to have this running. If your generator is on, you don't need to have it running. If you want to stop and go to the mall for an hour or two, you need to have this on while your generator's off, your engine's off. Now mind you, this takes power directly from your coach batteries. So there's going to come a time where it's going to start draining your batteries really fast, and that may be the 2-hour mark. So just be careful of how long you're gone for. If you need to be gone for longer than that, maybe you need to want to run your generator to keep your fridge cold. Okay, otherwise you can just keep it off. Once you plug in at a campsite, you can also turn it off. Don't worry about this right here. This is the auto gen start. These are all light switches. Here's your step switch. What your step switch does is, if you don't want the steps to go out every time you open and close the door, you hit the switch and it'll stay out the entire time that the door is closed, as long as the engine's off. When you turn the engine on and shut the door, then they'll auto retract. It overrides the system. Here's for your awning right here, and we'll run that out before we get ready to leave. And here's your battery disconnect. Battery disconnect is for when you basically want to store the RV at a park or whatever. You know, when you bring it back to us, we'll store it for the winter. So sometimes people accidentally turn this on. You want to make sure you keep it in the use. Alright, if something starts acting weird that wasn't acting weird a few minutes ago, hit that button. You should hear a solenoid click inside the back, and you know everything is going well. We also have a fire extinguisher here. Okay, it should be full. Please use this for emergencies only, not for personal use. Alright, we do check that. Alright, come on in. Alright, we'll start from the front. So over here we have our mirror heat, our mirror controls for our side mirrors. You have your LCI leveling here. You must have your parking brake engaged. Alright, your engine on. We have our engine on, or not our engine on, but our ignition on. And what you'll do is, before you run your slide out, you just got to the place, you hit auto level. Alright, and give it maybe 3 or 4 minutes to finish a leveling. Once it's level, then you can run your full wall slide out. Never, ever, ever, ever run the slide out without having your jacks down. It's too much weight on the driver's side, and that slide is too big for you to not do it that way. So please, please just be careful. Alright, when you get ready to run it back in, make sure your slide room is in, and you turn your power on and you hit the retract button. Hold it for maybe 2 seconds, and then you'll feel the jolt of the RV go down and the hydraulics sucking up into the bottom of the RV. You also have your fog lights, emergency start. The emergency start is, let's say you got to where you're going, you left your lights on, and you try to crank it up a couple hours later, the next morning, what have you, and the engine won't start. Well, that extra set of batteries will give you a jump by holding the emergency start button and cranking your engine at the same time. Alright, so you can give yourself a jump. If that doesn't work, then turn your generator on. It'll charge the house batteries, maybe wait 15 minutes or so, and then try the emergency start again. If that doesn't work, then you have to get a jump. Okay? You have your cruise control, standard stuff that you're going to see in every vehicle. You have your radio here. When you put your blinkers on, cameras will automatically come on to either side. You have your cab light, your generator start. Typically people use the one in the back. This one here is just built on in case you had to use the generator start up front. Driver fan, passenger fan, all your air conditioning, your 12-volt USB connections. You have a fold-over table for whoever's sitting in the passenger seat. If they wanted to use a laptop, read, eat, what have you. These seats do swivel. You just have to find the right connection for them to swivel. We have an overhead bed. I believe it's a full size. While you're traveling, you need to have these little travel pins in. There's a little spot up inside here, this little hole. You slide it in the hole, and it stays in place. There's also another one on the other side. Pop that in while you're traveling. When you get ready to let the rooms down, pull them out. Make sure the side is out, and you have your bed lift control here. Make sure our engine's off. All of our safeties are in place when the engine is on. So we've turned our engine off. Now our bed will go down. Now the bed is going to go all the way down until it gets to about right here. The thing that you want to make note of is when the bed is going down, make sure it's going down evenly. These things are known to be off track just a little bit. If it does not come down evenly, start over, go back up, and then try to come back down again. Also the same when it's down on its bottom, before you go up, or when you start to go up, if it's not coming up evenly, go back down and restart. Maybe do it 2 or 3 times, an inch or 2 up and down, and then go back all the way up, and it should fix it. It just needs to be retimed. It happens periodically. It hasn't happened with this unit. Just trying to help you troubleshoot in case this does become a problem. Alright, so we'll run that back up. Once you put it up to the top, try not to get all the way to the roof before you let go of the button. And the little travel pin should go in securely. So see, we're not crushing the roof, just almost perfectly there. Okay, here on this side we have another bed. The way this works is you just simply pull out on it here. It goes into place. And then our 2 legs comes out, this side and then the other side. And it lays all the way on the floor. Alright. Once you get it there, there's an air mattress that you put on top of it. Okay, and the air mattress is located under here. Has a pump built into it. Okay. Over here, you have another bed. There's a little swing arm underneath. You swing the arm over and the table should slide down. But first you must move this out of the way and pull your backrest out so this table can go all the way down and stop right here on this arm. Once it stops on this arm, then you take the back cushions and slide them in to the spaces to fill the gaps. Alright, there is a weight limit on here. Be careful. It's not made for larger adults, made mainly for little people. Alright. The TV, all TVs are going to work about the same. We're using antenna right now. So if you go to menu, if you're out of the local area, you go to menu, then you go left to channel, make sure it's on air, auto scan, and you hit enter. So if you're out of town and you don't have the local channels that we have, then you just do this right here, give it 10 minutes or so, and it'll find all your digital channels. There's no DVD player attached to this, so if you want one, you'll have to bring one. Okay. Alright, let's move along. Across the front we have all kinds of storage. There's a couple of lights up there, storage up here, storage across the sides here. We have a full-size fridge. Okay, nice size fridge. The controls for it are up under here. There's an ice maker in here. I guess it's to your discretion if you want to use it. I mean, we put fresh water in it, but I probably recommend that you bring your own ice and you can keep it in there. There's a slide-out pantry on the left side here. We have a full-size microwave, giant microwave. And we have our stove. It runs off propane to light individually. It's like that. Okay. If you need to light the oven, you turn this and hold the button while you're holding that pilot in place. You have to get one of those long matches or lighters, and you find a thermocouple inside here and you light it like you would a water heater. Once it's lit, you keep holding this in, maybe 30 seconds to maybe 60 seconds. You let go. If it stays lit, then you can dial in your temperature. Okay. Over here on my left, we have our control panel. Okay. See here where it says unit must be level with jacks in the down position before operating at slide room. The slide room goes from the back of the coach all the way to the front of the coach. You can see how large this thing is. So that's why it's very important to make sure that you get these jacks down. Under no circumstances are you to let this room out without the jacks being down and the RV being level. Okay, so back over here, we have our generator controls. Just like I said outside, you're going to hold the stop button until the generator light comes on, and then you're free to start it up. Once the numbers come on and the red light stays on, then the generator is on. You have your propane status, tanks from empty all the way to full. Okay, your battery, it's not plugged in right now, so we're holding 2/3 of a charge. Our fresh water, from empty to full. As it starts to run out of fresh water, you'll see that it'll start to get to full. And our black tank, which is our toilet, it's empty right now. It starts to get full, you need to want to consider dumping it. Also our gray, empty. So with the black and the gray, if you're at a campsite that has a dump station right next to you, you can hook up your hoses, but don't leave the valves open all the time, because the solid waste that goes into the toilet needs to have liquid to flow out with it. So make sure that you keep it closed, and maybe every other day or at the end of every day you go ahead and pull your black first, then your gray, to let it all flush out. Alright, over here we have our slide extension. This is what's going to move our slide out. Alright, it's extended right now. When you are moving it, whether it's extended or retracted, make sure that it's coming in at the same speed, just like the bed was going down. They're made by the same manufacturer, use the same parts. So make sure that you're watching both sides as you're holding that button. Okay. Also, between the bed and the slide out over here, the bed is going to butt up against the dresser. So make sure there's nothing on the floor that can get crushed. Right? So when you're moving the room out, you're going to watch both sides as you're holding the button. When you're moving the room in, you're going to watch both sides as you're holding the button. And make sure nobody is sitting in the couch, in the dining area, or laying in the beds. We don't want any unnecessary weight put on this unit. Okay? Over here we have our water pump. Water pump is going to pull water from our freshwater tank, maybe about 60 gallons that you have on board. If you have that off, you won't get any water. If you're at a campsite and you're using city water pressure, you don't need the water pump on, because city water pressure is enough to go to all your faucets. This is only a gravity counterfed thing, so you need to pull the water out of the freshwater tank. You have your water heater. You have an LP water heater, and then you also have a heating element. That's your 110 side. So you're free to use as much propane as you need. So you can use this. It's going to work a lot faster than the 110 side will. But if you're out of propane and you don't want to buy any more, you're going to have to either be plugged in at a campsite, or you're going to have your generator on to get the hot water to run off this switch here. Okay? That covers everything there. So we have our thermostat that controls our front air conditioner. Works just like a standard thermostat does. And it blows out. Here's your air conditioner here. If you close this valve off, or this damper off right here, it'll blow the air down through the plenum in the roof, and it'll come out of those little diffusers. Alright, if you have this open, then it's going to drop the air through here. So if you want to get some air distributed, make sure these are closed. This one and this one here. Alright, if you're gone for an extended period of time, these little filters pop out. You can wash them up. They're very important to keep clean. On the side here, we have our bunk beds. We have TVs on both sides, a little small one over there and a little bit larger one here. Drawer space underneath. Please make sure that the kids are using the ladders. If you don't want them up here, you can store them under the RV. That's fine. And don't lock your kids in here, okay? Because you can lock them up, or you can lock them up if you want to. I don't care. All right, here in the bathroom, we have chemicals. You're going to get 2 bottles of this chemical here and 4 rolls of RV grade tissue. Not the fancy stuff. Go to the camping section at Walmart if you need more. So how this works is it's supposed to break down the smells, break down anything that's down inside the toilet. So you're going to pre-treat the tank when it's empty with at least half a bottle. If you're going to be going to a campsite, or you're going to be staying at a campsite, you may not need this, because you have the option to drain your tanks every day, every other day. And you also have the toilet flusher, so this will be a waste. This is going to be mainly for longer commutes where you're not going to have the facilities to dump with. Alright, but these are going to be in here. You have a GFI reset right here. So if your outlets start tripping, they're not working correctly, check this. This might be tripped right here. For your toilet, it's got the step flush down at the bottom. Now remember, this will only work if the water will only come out if the water pump is on, or you have city water pressure plugged in outside. You also have your shower here, self-explanatory. There's a little button on top that stops the flow of water here. You push that, so when you get your temperature dialed in just right and you just want to lather up, you can turn your water off and it'll keep the same temperature because it just turns it off up here. Then once you get ready to rinse off, you turn it back on and you keep going. Make sure this is closed while you're driving and this door is latched so the door doesn't open, bang back and forth. High brake item is People leave it like this, and this comes back broken. All right, so just be careful there. That's it in the bathroom. Oh, there also is a fan in the ceiling there. You have propane detection down there, all kinds of storage through here. Sliding door to release the door, push down here. Okay, that releases the door, and then you can pull both doors closed. Latching it back like that. You have your rear air conditioner thermostat here, and your rear radio. I believe that also controls the speakers outside, and I believe it's also Bluetooth. You have lots of storage all the way around through here. Another TV in the back. Down here on the edge of the bed, we have our circuit breaker panel. We have our circuit breaker panel here with our 110 side, and then this one here pops off, and we have our 12 volt side. I believe that if one of these blows, you'll have a corresponding red light that comes on. Alright, we don't provide you with any extra fuses, so you'll have to get one on your own, and we can reimburse you for it when you return off your trip. Alright, let's see if there's anything that I've missed. Your antenna over here does not raise up like most of them do, it just spins. So you pinch the sides if you need to tweak your reception, and you just twist it until you're watching the TV at the same time to make sure that it's what you want. Okay, you can leave it in any position. It's stationary on the roof, and it only sits about a foot high off the top of the roof. Your smoke detector here. If the battery starts to chirp unnecessarily, feel free to go ahead and pull the battery out. If you want to replace it, please do. We'll reimburse you for that also. Or you can just pull the battery out and let us know once you bring it back that the battery's died. Okay. With these blinds, they're all pretty simple to use. Just make sure that you use them carefully. You can see they have these really thin strings on them, and they break really easily. So please make sure kids aren't